don't know.
I think you're recording now.
I am?
Yeah, you're recording. You want to say anything?
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Okay then.
Hi, my name is Judy. Welcome to You Ask It, We Tell It. I have a doctorate, not from any college. My doctorate is a degree in suffering, which I'm very good at, I might add. Now, today's topic is psychology. So we'll be waiting to see if we get any calls or emails from any subjects out there who would like to ask a question for myself or Annie, who also has a degree. Okay, we'll catch you soon. Hi, I'm back. I have one writer that wrote in and said that she's been depressed and not feeling herself and just not sleeping, insomnia, just losing her mind type things, can't remember where she put things and all that, and asked, how can you tell if you need help? Well, usually we don't want to admit that we need help because that's kind of our human pride, and it takes a while to get to that point to ask someone for help or admitting that you need help. So what I would say is to search your soul and see deep down inside what it is that's bothering you. Is it past things? Is it betrayal from friends or family? Is it, I mean, the list can go on, and those are serious hurts and wounds that take a long time to heal and need therapy sometimes, you know, because you trust people and you love people and you give of yourself openly and freely, and if, you know, people squander that and step on that, it hurts. And as years go by, and the more traumatic things that happen in your life, if you don't have the people there with you to stand by you and lift you up on those bad days, then, you know, you may need to take some medicine or therapy or both. And there's nothing wrong with that either, if you have to do that. Okay, now on to question number 2.
Hi, my name's Annie, and we're here to talk about some things that you can do to try to help yourself to overcome whatever obstacles you need to overcome. We left off with question 2, and it's, what can I do to help myself? There's a lot of things you can do to help yourself. Studying psychology, you know, I've come to believe that, like, it's a mixture of therapy and medicine. But I'm more geared toward therapy because that gets down into what your soul is really feeling and what you need to overcome, you know, what they say is an illness. Sometimes it may not... And sometimes it needs to be things that you need to let go of from past hurts and love and life and stuff like that. I like art therapy. I like to journal. I like to make videos. I like talking about things openly, and to find other people who are like you. And that helps a lot, you know, so that you can be open and honest and talk to other people about what you're going through. But, you know, like, even if you have problems like going to the hospital, I can assure you that you know does help you out a lot, and you know you can meet a lot of great people. And mental illness is the new leprosy. Back then, lepers, like, they weren't allowed in the city. You couldn't touch them, you couldn't talk to them, you know, they're outcasted. So now, you know, we're looking at brain disorders, and most of the time people with brain disorders are left out in the dust. You know, they either become homeless or drug addicts, or you know, they just can't deal with life. And I mean, we've all been there, so that's just what I believe.
All right, action.
Hi, now we're here to talk about breaking the stigma of mental disorders and illness. And I'm sure most of you have known or met someone through a family member or friend that has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder or PTSD. A lot of the soldiers come back home from the war with that, and a lot of brain injuries also, and paranoid schizophrenia. So many times people with these illnesses are placed in a box and closed up in that box because no one wants to reach out to them, or no one wants to get to know them because they think, oh, she's crazy, or he's crazy, or he's weird, or he says or does weird things, or you know, whatever. And the thing is that once you get to know these people, you find out that they're just like you and I. We're just normal people that are trying to live our lives to the fullest, you know, through the good and the bad times that come our way, raise families, you know, be with our friends and help people out as much as we can. And it's very foolish and ignorant of people to say, oh, that can never happen to me, or that'll never happen to my child, or that'll never happen to my relative, because we're strong and we're tough. It has nothing to do with being strong or tough. In fact, I consider mental disorders, mental illness, a strength. Because people are really put through a lot of hell, not only through the mental part of it, but then being shunned by others that don't understand, including friends and family, you know, doing things, saying things that you don't remember, and then you have to be embarrassed about, and, you know, having marriages fall apart because of it, or other things to induce it. And you just, it's best to, instead of point fingers and judge someone else and exclude someone else because you think they're crazy, or I don't even like to use that word, or mentally incapacitated, it's best to learn about it and get to know people who, you know, are suffering with that, because it is a great suffering. And I've known many people that have had bipolar and paranoid schizophrenia, and it's not a fun thing to have. And to sit back and laugh or think this will never happen to me or whatever. Alzheimer's is kind of like the same thing. So, you know, you can't sit back and say that'll never happen to me, or I'll never get dementia and, you know, do anything stupid or say anything stupid. I mean, people who drink and get drunk do stupid and say stupid things, but they're, you know, oh, he's drunk or she's drunk, and it, you know, that's okay. But, you know, with the mental illness part, it's not okay because they're sick, you know, or they're crazy, or they're this. We have all these stigmas around us, trying to rebuild yourself back up from all the stigmas and being shunned and losing friends because of their judgments or misunderstandings, instead of reaching out and loving and caring about you because they know you as a person before you got sick. It's just, you know, something to look at on both sides of the coin instead of just saying, oh, this person is crazy or that person is crazy, because all of us at some point in our time suffer with depression through loss of a friend or a pet or, you know, whatever, family member, a mom, a dad. You know, we suffer depression, we suffer anxiety, worrying about a job, and, you know, what if I lose my job, or you do lose your job and you can't afford your bills, and I mean, it can go on and on and on. And if we, you know, oh, well, you're not strong enough because if I were in your shoes, I would do this, and I would just be thanking God. You can't judge anybody unless you walk in their shoes. 100% walk in their shoes with deep, deep, heartfelt compassion. And that's my feel on the stigma of mental disorders and illness. Thank you. Have a nice day. Being diagnosed with a mental disorder or illness, such as PTSD or anxiety disorder, OCD, bipolar, is quite devastating to go through. And actually, it's like death. You know, you go through the stages of death, and the first one is denial, and the final one is acceptance. And until you get to that point of acceptance and you stay in denial, your life can never grow to where you can have a future and meet challenges and be able to deal with them with love and support around you. Because until you accept it, no one else can accept it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we as a society, like, we place a lot of emphasis on knowledge and going to school and stuff like that. And I understand that's important, you know, to civilization and all that, but I think that we as a whole place too much emphasis on the brain. The heart starts beating, like, probably before you even know you're pregnant, like, within the first 6 weeks. And when you die, it's your heart that stops beating, not your brain. I know of people who have gotten half their brain cut out and they still function. It's not about the brain and being intellectual and everything. It's about your soul and how you feel and how you, you know, put those feelings into actions. You know, like, if you see somebody on the street and you don't help them, you know, what kind of heart do you have? And I lost my track. Shit. Stop it.
Are you recording again?
Oh, shit.
You're recording again.